Hello. Hello, my friends. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. I am so glad you're here. If you haven't noticed, we tried the intro thing again. We are back on StreamYard. We're going to give it a try and see how the quality ends up taking. I found a couple of quality related settings that I may or may not have messed with in the past, but we're going to see. We're going to see in terms of image quality just how it does. But welcome. I'm so stinking glad you're here. Kathy started the conversation in the chat well before the stream even started with a very, very relevant topic at hand. And I know that New York and the Northeast has gone through all of this too, and Minnesota has been going through it as well. But you guys, if you looked outside my window right now, you would think something very bad is about to happen. I felt it this morning. Well, I looked outside and I was like, man, it just feels like something is off today. It feels like something eerie is going on. And I looked at the air quality on the weather app and it was a little bit higher. It was like 78 or something like that, which is not great by any stretch, but like not nearly as dramatic as it has been both in the past for us and in New York City, right? And then so I went about my day, no big deal, haven't gone outside, anything like that. Then I got up here a little bit later this afternoon. And if you look down out my window, there are these trees that you can see in the distance. And I swear it looks like you're up in the mountains and in the middle of a cloud. And I went, oh crap, let me look at the air quality again. And it skyrocketed. And that's not a good thing. The air quality number being high is a bad, bad thing. Our entire area is covered in smoke. Our entire area. So dear Canada and my Canadian friends, please stop burning. Please, I would really appreciate it. But it's bad. And so then, of course, I'm sitting here wondering if all of the nasal, like I've not had any like major nasal problems, but I haven't been able to fully regularly breathe in a lying down position for several days. And I'm just now realizing that this might be the reason. Like, and is no amount of allergy medication going to help me with this? I don't know, but it's not good. It's not good. So that is what we are dealing with today. But nevertheless, I'm here. We're going to chat. We're going to have a great conversation this evening. So let's see who all is here. Of course, Kathy is here starting the conversation about the smoke. Lauren is here. Welcome. Lissa's here. I'll actually read your comments in a little bit. Lori's here. Andy, you're back. Hello. Good to see you. Let's see. I was so graceful last week when it was bad here that it really only bothered that I had the procedure on no respiratory issues. Yeah, and I can breathe fine-ish. Gosh, I've never really sat and thought about it. And I'm also wondering if this is the reason. It could, there have been multiple reasons. I had a very, very tired day yesterday. And what I'm realizing about my tiredness is there are two different levels, because essentially I wake up tired every single day. But it's to what degree is the question, right? Chronic illness life, my friends. And I've noticed that there are really two different ways that I can end up feeling, and it's pretty indicative right away as to how that day is going to go for me. And the one day is just like, I'm tired, I'm feeling a little bit slow, whatever, normal. And then there are days like yesterday, I got out of bed and my legs felt so heavy. It was like my lower body was wearing 20-pound ankle weights. It was the most bizarre thing. And so like moving, like shuffling to the bathroom felt like kind of like walking through something with resistance, water or molasses or jello or something like that. And that was such a different tired then waking up this morning, like I felt much better this morning. I woke up and I was like, oh, tired, but I was able to shake the sleepies a lot quicker. I drank my cup of coffee. I was able to power through 45 minutes on the elliptical. I was able to do the things today, and I'm still ripping and roaring a little bit. Like my energy is slowly tapering, but I felt like I was able to do things today. Whereas yesterday was a molasses day. And it was like my brain and my body and just nothing wanted to work. Everything felt hard. And it was the darndest thing. And so what level of it is, I haven't been moving as much because I've been more tired lately. So that kind of compounds on each other, which we're going to talk about tonight, actually. Um, how much of it's the smoke? I never thought about that because I have asthma and I have really bad allergies. How much of what's haywire and has been haywire has to do with the atmosphere outside, and how much of it is CMT? That I don't know. I wish I had like a little meter built in that could like tell me what my problem was and at what level and what was causing it, Wouldn't that be nice? If we just had like little, like there's an app for that, and our body was this Bluetooth thing that's like, here's what's wrong today. Here are your spoons today. That would be special and awesome, and I would really, really love it. Oh my goodness. I saw TikTok video on TikTok that's prime time for cults to recruit, because if anyone's going to convince people it was yeah, I mean, it doesn't look pretty, but we know what the reason is. There's a very valid reason that this is happening, and it is all of the wildfires. Hello, Kim. It is good to see you. I have no idea what those numbers mean, Andy. It did inspire me to buy a reusable mask. Yes, my husband has to go outside and like take out the trash and break down the recycling. And he's like, "You're gonna make me go outside and do this and this." And I was like, "Just take the trash can out." And he's like, "Better wear my mask." And so he's gonna put his N95 on to go outside and do the garbage, because it's like I don't want to breathe that. And immediately once we looked at it, and like I went and I showed him, like, this is actually what I took a screenshot of it. And now that I'm saying it, I'm like feeling it in my lungs, Um, but like this is our meter. This is our meter. It's not pretty. It's not good. Low battery. I should probably charge my phone. So yeah, that's what's going on here. It's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit crazy. We've been having thunderstorms till 6, still pouring. Thanks to this, not hearing many motorcycles. Oh, wow. I'm bummed for the motorcyclists that don't get to do their motorcycle stuff. That's a bummer. It's hot. It's hot here too. It's reverse COVID. Put a mask on to go outside and take it off when you get in. Seriously. Seriously, that's kind of what it's like right now. That's kind of what it's like. Yes, for sure. For sure. Donna, hello. How are you? So that's what's going on. The air quality is not stellar, but that's okay. Let's talk about some highs and lows. And if you are new, since we made the transition into calling this Wellness Wednesday, we have highs, we have lows, we have our wellness wins. And then Lissa suggested something that someone else does called like the working on it or something. So if you want to throw in a fourth element of things to share, you can throw in a working on it. What is something that you're currently maybe struggling with in your health journey, or something that you are actively working on making a change in your wellness journey? So we have highs, lows, wellness wins, and working on it. I think that's a great way to do it. Oi, she says. Oi, oh dear. So I will start with my high. My husband came home early. Oh, you guys didn't know he was gone. That's right. That was strategic. I've been creating content. I have a vlog that's talking about how he's gone and what I'm doing and blah 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 blah. I never told y'all unless you're in my Patreon. My Patreon members knew that he was gone, but they were the only ones that knew he was gone. My husband went to Florida after we went to Illinois. He left from Chicago. So he flew out in O'Hare. Why? Because the Florida Panthers were in the Stanley Cup finals. And so he and his dad had an amazing, maybe possibly once in a lifetime experience. They went to both home games for the Stanley Cup Finals. They had excellent seats. They had a great time. They won one game. They lost one game. What was very cool for him is that he was able to watch Panthers history. They won their first Stanley Cup Finals game, which they've never done before. So all good things. He was originally going to stay down there for 2 weeks, and which is the longest we've been apart in ages. Like since maybe the first year of our marriage, and he had to go and intern in Atlanta while I stayed in North Carolina. Like it's been a hot minute. So I've been putting up with the dog with more neuroses and anxiety than I could even know what to do with. She was awful. She was absolutely awful. And just shaking and not wanting to eat and not wanting to potty. And she was terrible. All because he was gone. All because he was gone. So the high is my husband decided to come home a week early, and he came home on Sunday, which is great. We got to watch the last game of the season together. They lost brutally last night, which part of me wants to take the blame for, because he looked at me and he asked me, he goes, so he likes to like get my predictions, and I hate predicting these things. I'm like, I just want to kind of see it play out. I don't want to lean either way. So I was like, I don't really want to. And then I was like, here's what I think. Whether they win or whether they lose, I think they're going to do it spectacularly. And they lost spectacularly last night. It was not good. It was not good. But no more hockey talk. So like the low is my husband's sad because the hockey season's over. The high is that my husband is back. My dog is back to normal. Thank God. And our other low is that the air is the low. My wellness win this week. I mean, at the rate I'm going, the wellness win is I got up and I got on the elliptical this morning and I did a 45-minute elliptical workout. I'm trying to build that momentum. And with all of the heaviness that I've been feeling in my lower body lately, my husband did look at me. He goes, how often have you been using that elliptical? Because for as long as I've known you, the elliptical has been like a daily, like you would go to the gym and do the elliptical a lot. And maybe it's just the act of that movement, that motion, that's not you picking up your feet, but you're actively doing that every single day. Maybe you need to make sure you get back to that. And I hate that I felt, I was like, oh, you're probably right. So I made myself get on that elliptical for an extended period of time. And I'm like, I kind of got to revert to old Brianna a bit in some of these habits. And old Brianna spent a lot of time walking and a lot of time on the elliptical machine. But I also had more energy then. And I don't know which side of the coin is it, right? Am I going to do more damage or more good by chasing this energy? But motion is energy, right? It's energy in motion. So I'm hoping to kind of build that momentum to keep the energy moving and hope for the best. So that's my wellness win, and my working on it is actually one and the same as the wellness win. I'm working on actively building that momentum towards more movement in the hopes that it will increase my overall energy levels. That's what I've got. Jonathan's week was all lows. Oh no, I hate that. Went to the summer barbecue, saw some people I haven't seen in years with no anxiety. Low, major surgery. Hi, I'm home now. Oh, I'm glad you're home, Andy. You changed your avatar. I'm dealing with a lot of food scale anxiety right now, dealing with a lot of disordered eating thoughts in the process. What are you? Food and scale. Okay. I've sat there and was like, why are you using a food scale if you're not tracking? I'm very confused. I got you. Food and scale anxiety. If it's something you want to start to talk out, we can talk that out. How do you get a private message to me? Do it on Instagram. DM me on Instagram because I know you follow me over on there. My high, and this is really sad, I finally went and got my new driver's license change of address. No lows. Hey, sometimes it's those tasks that just eat at the back of us. We're like, we know it'll take us not that long. We know it's not that big of a deal, but we just put it off and put it off and put it off. That's one of those tasks. So congratulations, Kathy, for getting that done. Good job. I'm working on a lot. That's okay, Lauren. That is okay. I'm doing a digital detox. Ooh, tell us more about that. Working to improve my sleep schedule and get 7 to 8 hours a night. I'm turning off all electronics at 9 and reading till 10, and I have been more rested. I love everything about what you just said. That's good job. Because right now I don't have that discipline and I need it. I did put my phone on focus mode for work. So all of my notifications got turned off both on my computer and on my phone for 2.5 hours today, which was how I should be doing it every day. I should just perpetually leave it on focus mode so I don't see the notifications come through. It would be so much better. And then I used my little focus tree growing app for over an hour today, and which meant I couldn't even pick up my phone because I couldn't close that app. So good for you. Good for you. Because that's something that I'm actively working on too. Try going for a second walk to see if we get me out of this anxious, slightly depressive funk. Just complaining and venting online. I like that. I actually really like that. That's really good for you because I know that you like to complain and vent online. So taking an affirmative action instead is a really, really good move. I like that. I like that. Good job. Your recent video hit close to home and I feel you. I didn't like my pics of myself on vacation and it kicked me into gear to get back on track with my weight loss goals. Good for you. I'm glad. And I knew, I even said, I'm like, I know I'm not alone here. I know I'm not alone here. And there were multiple people that have commented and messaged me and said, hey, I relate. So I'm sorry that you relate, but I'm glad that it helped you kind of kickstart things for yourself as well. So that's great. Still trying out not counting points and calories. Haven't been to the gym, having a few different health issues that may or may not be related. Well, last week I got to my highest since getting to goal in 2017, only 9 pounds over goal. During vacation week, only got my steps in one day, went to Trader Joe's, eat the 7-serving pack in 2 nights. We've all been there. We've all been there. Yes, it is hard. It's very, very hard. MS sucks. Yes, all the chronic illnesses suck. They really, really do. I'm with Lissa. I'm having a bit of scale anxiety at maintenance. Okay. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. Give me some more details here, Kim. I know the fix, but my brain is being difficult. LOL. Hi, my elbow is healing. Good. Also, sleep is a good discussion. Great. Okay. I like it. I like it. Can't find you. I'm Diva in the Divine on Instagram. You literally follow me, my friend. You've messaged me on there before. The walk didn't exactly make me feel any better. Okay. Even if the walk didn't make you feel better, you still took a positive action towards it. So facts versus feelings, right? Feelings, whatever. If you feel good, if you feel bad, that's not the point. But the fact is that you did something affirmative instead of go towards your normal impulse, which is to vent online. Because also what happens when you vent online? You vent on the Discord channel, and what do? We offer suggestions that you may or may not like. So depending on where your head is at, it's the healthier decision mentally. If you're not ready for us to come at you with suggestions, it's the healthier decision mentally to just go do the other action. I know I need to wait for my period to clear out to judge what the scale's doing, but it's been trending up for the last 2 weeks and it's making me worry that not tracking isn't working. So what's a worst case scenario, right? And then what do you do to fix it? And then what I think you should do is, even if in the current time you are sitting here like, I still want to continue trying not to track, come up with a backup plan. So you don't have to bottom out and have a complete meltdown if you feel that things have gotten too far. Instead, you have a plan in place. You'd be like, okay, if this doesn't work, here's what we're going to do. And maybe your answer is like, if you don't want to do points for a while and maybe you just want to do straight calories, set a higher calorie goal. And just make that like your ceiling, right? So anywhere within that range, you can land and maybe set a protein goal and a fiber goal, right? Or something of that nature, something that's like not so rigid that you have to hit this number every single time, but something that gives you a, hey, maybe we don't go above this number, okay? Something like that. I always dislike my pics. I haven't looked at my temporary driver's license picture because of that. But I'm also at a point where I know that counting isn't going to be good for me right now. I've seen a list of reasons you shouldn't count calories, and it applies to me right now. Well, there you go. So then what can you do? Have you considered, and I wish, and I think I've talked about this before, I wish MyFitnessPal had a way to remove calories from your dashboard in their entirety. They have a really cool feature where you can customize the dashboard to track any nutrient you want. So currently, I'm tracking saturated fat fiber and protein. But my calorie, and I'm still actively tracking calories, but I tried to see if there was a way to get the calorie number to go away, and there wasn't. So that makes it a little bit harder, but like it could behoove you to like, okay, don't track calories, but track something. Track your protein, track your fiber, track something. So even if you don't, even if the goal isn't to stay under something, maybe the goal is to reach something, like reaching X number of grams of fiber or reaching X number of grams of protein or something like that. My low back is in spasm, but I'm not using food to deal with this. That is a high. That is a wellness win, Donna. Good for you. I hit my goal weight. Now I feel like it wasn't enough weight, possibly lose more. I recognize it's a body image issue. When the scale goes up in maintenance, which is normal, that thought comes up. Okay, so you hit your goal weight. That's awesome. Congratulations. First thing I'm going to remind you of is that maintenance is a range, which you know. Maintenance is a range. You're not going to stay at that number. People, stop saying goal weight is one specific number. Can we just let that go? Can we just let that go? I'm thinking of this in real time because I have a goal weight number in mind too. But the reality is, it's more of a goal aesthetic, right? It's more of a goal aesthetic. It's not necessarily a number on the scale. The number is always nice. But if we sit there with that number and like that's our end all be all, 150 pounds, whatever it is, I did 150 is just a really great round number. So let's say our goal weight is 150 pounds. Then when we get to 152 pounds, we freak out. Why? Because it's not 150 pounds. So here's what I want you to do, especially for somebody like Kim, who I know understands body measurements, who I know lifts weights and moves and is generally athletic and fit and all of those things. Make your maintenance at minimum plus or minus 3, more comfortably plus or minus 5. So if your goal weight is 150 pounds, and I have no idea what your goal weight actually is this time around, but like anywhere from 150 to 155, you are still at goal. Hard stop. You are still at goal. You don't have no Weight Watchers weighing you trying to get lifetime whatever, right? You're still at goal within that 5-pound range. You can dip a little bit under. It's fine, but you're still at goal within that plus or minus 5-pound range. And what I keep telling my clients are find yourself your pair of pants. Get yourself a pair of jeans. Find yourself a pair of jeans in your closet, preferably, one that doesn't have a lot of stretch to it, like a true denim jean, right? That fits you at that goal number. Use that as your metric. Do the pants still zip? Great. Do they feel comfortable? Great. Leave it alone. It's fine. Doesn't matter what the scale says. As long as those pants fit. I looked at that, though. Paying for MFP is in the budget, but I was looking at tracking protein and fiber. Not to her, I'd do that without weighing everything meticulously. General. You just have to do it generally. You don't have to weigh anything meticulously. This is about 3 pounds, 3 ounces of meat. What's 3 ounces of meat? Like, you could just use Nutrition X database and wing it. Like, you don't need it to be meticulous. You have to let go of meticulous. Because that's only going to dig you deeper and deeper into the ground. Goal range. Yes, goal range. Exactly. It's just it lets go of that one individual number, which is the number that always sets us back, because when we gain 2 pounds, we freak out. And that's not good. We don't need to freak out. I was too anxious to eat it. I had collagen, fiber, electrolyte drink, but I didn't eat an actual breakfast till nearly 12. Well, I would say you can chalk that up to intermittent fasting, but you had the beverage, so it's not intermittent fasting. I'm not starving myself, though. I have no idea what the scale will do tomorrow. Keep your expectations low. Knowing what the medical stuff you've been going through is, please keep your expectations low. Oh boy, measurements. I got lax. Haven't done it in 6 weeks. Kim, take your measurements. All the time when we're coaching, that's the thing. I'm like, hey, what do your measurements say? Hey, what do your measurements say? I bet you your measurements say you're fine. They say you're fine. Promise you that. That was my high again this week after checking since Saturday. I'm down 3.1 and my jeans fit again. Yes, good work. Good work, my friends. All right, let's get rid of this highs and lows thing. I was up 5:30, only had the drink because I was starting to feel a little lightheaded at the gym. Yeah, I mean, if you get lightheaded at the gym, you should probably consume calories. That's important. All right. So a couple of things that we can be talking about this evening. First of all, we have, of course, Q&A time. Ask me anything. Kim expressed an interest on having a sleep discussion. What kind of things about sleep should we discuss? Because sleep is like the epitome of wellness. Solid sleep nutrition, solid sleep hygiene, that's the word I was looking for, is essential, right? Regardless of how much sleep you can actually get. Maybe you're not in a season of life where you can get 8 hours of sleep right now. Maybe you could only get 6 on a regular night. What can we do to make sure that those 6 hours of sleep are the most quality hours of sleep that you could possibly get? Because there are people that you will thrive better if you're a crappy sleeper and you get 8 hours of crap sleep, or if you're a solid sleeper and you get 6 hours of solid sleep. I guarantee you the person with the 6 hours of solid sleep is in a much better position than the 8 hours of crap sleep. I promise you. Every single time, quality matters. Quantity is nice, but if you can get quantity with the quality, right? That's super, super important. So, what kind of things do we want to talk about sleep? Here we go. How to get more sleep. I know the basics. Any alternative suggestions? So the first thing I need to understand is, how much sleep are you getting? What dictates your bedtimes? Like, walk me through here, and anybody who wants to chime in. I would love to hear all of the evening time routines. What does, from Kim saying, okay, I'm going to get ready to go to bed, how long does it take, and what is the process to get Kim to say, okay, I'm going to go to bed, to actually getting you in bed, phone on the nightstand or in a different room or whatever, and lights out? What does that routine look like? Super, super important. I noticed I was a little less hungry. Yes, yes, yes. It's game changing. The days that I get crappy sleep, the days that I am so tired, why do we crave more? We crave more food. We are more hungry. Why? Because if our body didn't get the refreshing amount of sleep from, or the refreshing of our energy from sleeping, where is it going to get the energy? Where do you think we're going to get the energy? Is our body going to go, you know what would really behoove me right now? A nice high protein, high fiber, slow burning breakfast. No, our body's going to go, give me the sugar, because that's the quick hit. That's the drug, right? Shoot me up with the sugar. And that's why we get hungrier. And that's why we make bad decisions, because the quick fix is what we're craving. And then we send our blood sugar on a roller coaster all day long. And every time we crash, we get hungry. So it's a cycle. So when you start to improve the quality of your sleep and the hunger goes away and the cravings go away, everything is better. Everything is better. Excellent. That's great. Andy found me on Instagram. Hitting 8 hours often requires me to be in bed. Right. So for you right now in this season, 8 hours is not practical. So what is the maximum amount of sleep you can get practically that has quality and consistency and all of those really, really good things? So for me, what does it look like? I'll leave Kim's thing up here while we're waiting for comments to come in. What does sleep look like? How to get more sleep? First of all, it really, really helps to always have a consistent bedtime and wake time. It really, really helps. My husband now wakes up early on the weekends so he can maintain his daily work schedule, right? So that's important, first of all. The second thing that is important is, and there's a whole like good, better, best spectrum of this, right? So, for example, I am terrible about putting my phone down. I'm terrible about it. The best case scenario is what Lauren is doing, right? She said she's putting down her phone. She's getting rid of all the electronics. She's picking up a paper book and she's reading for an hour before she goes to bed. She's completely nixing the electronics. That is best case scenario. That is exactly what we should be doing, right? But let's be honest, not all of us do what we should be doing. So what is the next best thing? When I, for sure, when I get into bed, social media is off limits. Why? Because social media is more likely to get my brain firing in ways that a mundane game like solitaire. Y'all, I freaking re-downloaded solitaire and I love it. And it is such a mundane game that is so just simple and easy, and it's not overwhelming and it's not action packed, that I can just play until I start to doze if that's what I choose to do. Social media is hard off limits after a certain time because it will keep my brain actively engaged, and we don't have time for that, right? Oh, we have a schedule. When school is in, I'm up at 6:45. I shoot for 10:30 beds. Most time I'm just not tired. I look at my phone till I'm sleepy. I have that night filter on my phone, but I know it's not a good idea. Okay. So, um if you were to go to bed when you were tired, what time do you think that would be? Because you, from what I know about you and from how I've interacted with you, you are a highly energetic person. And do you guys remember way back when I lived in Illinois? I went to a sleep doctor for insomnia. And do you remember what he told me? Do you remember the assignment that I got? Because I'm like, I just have the biggest trouble falling asleep and then staying asleep and then all of those things, right? And do you remember what he said? As I was like, "Oh, I try to go to bed at this time and I end up, just tossing and turning, blah 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 blah." My homework assignment with the desired 10 or 11 p.m. bedtime and like 7 a.m. wake up time, you know what he told me to do? Don't go to bed until 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not suggesting that you should do this, but just hear me out. Don't go to bed till 1 a.m. or until you're tired. And I stayed up till 1 a.m. for like, I think 4 days before. And it was the permission I needed to be like, oh, wait, I can go to bed when I'm tired. Okay, cool. And which is great. And it changed the way that I went to bed, because if there are some nights that I'm genuinely just bouncing off the walls, not tired, I will delay bedtime. But I have to, with the understanding that I'm still going to get up at the same time. So I might pay for it the next day, right? A couple other things to consider though is, why do you feel like you're not tired? Are you doing stuff in the evening? Like, do you work out right before you should be getting ready for bed? How late do you consume caffeine in the day? Things of that nature. All of these things are really important things to consider when thinking about bedtime. My bedtime routine, I get myself ready for bed as early as possible. So when I get actually tired, I don't have to go through the process of getting ready for bed. Because getting ready for bed is filling up my APAP machine with water and taking the dog potty and pajamas and skincare routine and brushing my teeth and taking out my contacts and all of those things. Getting everything situated, making the coffee, setting up the coffee pot for the next day. So if I'm in a place, it's 10:15 p.m. and we're laying on the couch watching TV and I start to feel sleepy, if I have to get up and then proceed to do all of those other things, I'm going to wake myself back up and I'm going to have the energy because I had to do the things. On the days that I'm on top of things, I have everything done except for taking out my contact lenses. That way, when I get the sleepies, I can go, okay, and I'll get up, I'll take out my contact lenses, I'll pop on my mask, my APAP, and I will get in bed, and I will probably be out in 10 minutes. And I can't tell you the amount of times that, because I remain consistent with this, I wake up in the middle of the night with my phone on my chest because I literally fell asleep like in the middle of a game of solitaire or one of the mindless things. I have 3 different games that I will turn to for the I need to zone out, I need to, and just fall asleep. And they work every single time. No social media, nothing that engages the brain. Let's see. I don't have consistent wake time because my work wake time is so early. There's no point on the weekends when the gym doesn't open till 7. 7.5 hours, but sometimes I wake up and use the bathroom. No cell phone after 9, watch TV till 10, and then lights out. I like that. And so I think, and again, in the good, better, best spectrum, right? The best option is eliminate electronics. I think a good option is to get rid of the phone that sits in front of our face or in front of the computer and do the TV that is further away. If you have to do an electronic, do the TV and not these two things, right? Just because it gets it away. Dimmer lights, y'all know I love my Hue bulbs. So in the evening, all of our lights switch to a warm, dim light to make sure that like we can still see, but nothing is energizing. Like, for example, let me show you. You should be able to see, the different. I have hue bulbs in my lamp that is currently illuminating me. This is relax mode. You see that difference, right? And then there's like warm bright lights, there's cooler bright lights, and then there's like really cool bright lights. Like, see how blue that is? So your lighting can, oh, I like this. I kind of like the feeling of the warm. Maybe I'll keep it a little bit warmer. Let's see how that looks. I don't know. No, I don't want that one. I want this one. But you get what I'm saying? The temperature, make sure the environment is conducive to your sleep hygiene as well. I mean, that's not bad. That's not too much of a difference. That's pretty good. Games versus social media. Yes, yes. 110% recommend getting off of social media, because when we scroll, one of two things happens. We're like really excited about what we're seeing, or we start thinking about like, oh, I want to buy that thing. Oh, I want to make this change. Oh, I'm jealous of this. Oh, all of the emotions that could keep our brain and our subconscious going and nagging and energized and talking at us. No, we don't need that. We don't need that. So stay off social media. It's one of the things my mother-in-law does. I'm like, when you get in bed, stop being on social media. Get off of it. You go to sleep a lot faster, or in the morning, you get out of bed a lot sooner. No social media. On 5 days a week, I try to head to bed at 10. I have to be up at 5:45. I end up getting up to pee 2 to 3 times a night. And today I was supposed to sleep late, and I was up before 5 a.m. Isn't that how it always is? The days that you can't sleep in, you wake up naturally and you're like, oh, this is great. Must be like 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's like 5. Been there. Click. About 9. I do find myself sleepy, but then think it's not time yet. Oh, interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that would be like 9.5 hours of sleep. So what could be interesting is when you first try doing the whole getting ready for bed thing as like early, like when you're done with the live stream. That's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to wash my face. I'm going to put some pajamas on. I'm going to get everything done. And it'll be 8 o'clock my time. Right. And then that way, even if when you start to get a little bit sleepy and whatnot, get off of social media, do all of like the little things. So when you get into bed, you can just get into bed and fall asleep. To shut off the lights. I just have to be in bed with the book. Yep. I have to be up by 6, so 9 to 10 p.m. is the ideal time for winding down. Yes, I think, and that's exactly the right term for it. Wind down time. It's not fair to expect yourself to go from 60 miles an hour, doing all the things to boom, I'm in bed, right? Some days we can do it. Some days we're so exhausted that we fall into bed and we immediately fall asleep, right? My Aura Ring actually because it can tell how quickly you fall asleep. If you fall asleep too quickly, like within 2 to 3 minutes of getting in bed, the Aura Ring knows, and it's like, dude, you're not like, you're too tired if that's what's happening. But making sure you implement a nice hour-long wind down time. What does that look like? What does the environmental setup look like? What kind of things do you stop doing? What kind of things do you start doing? If you take PM medications that aid in your sleep, or you take natural calm, can you turn that into a whole routine? I take my pills before I start doing all of the other stuff if I haven't already done it. I don't take my pills at 8 o'clock. I try to take my pills about an hour before I go to bed, because it has the Soul CBD Dream Capsule, which, shameless plug, my code is currently 25% off instead of 15% off at Soul CBD. So if you want to try something from them, use the code DIVA. The Dream Capsules are my favorite. I take them every single night. That's what made me think of it. It has my trazodone in there, my anti-anxiety, all of those things. I take it about an hour before I sleep. I put meditation music on loop. There you go. There you go. I also sleep with, I know Kim won't do this, but earplugs. Sleeping with earplugs in has been a game changer to me. God bless Eric's friend who gave me earplugs that January 2020, when we were all sharing a house and things got too loud and I was real grumpy because I couldn't sleep. She gave me a pair of earplugs and it was life-changing. And I sleep in them literally every night now. And it's the best quality of sleep I've ever gotten in my life. No joke. I take sleep meds, so I'm in bed between 9 and 10, and I wake up at 5. Excellent. How bad are the fires over there, peeps? Oh, you missed that part of the conversation. We haven't spoken from anybody in Canada, but here our air quality is so bad, and like you look outside and it's eerie and smoky. And I'm in Minnesota. I'm not even where the fires are. They're just all blowing my direction. I have no TV in the bedroom. We have a TV in the bedroom. We never use it in bed. So I use it in bed when my husband was not home. When I was getting tired, I'm like, well, I'll finish the episode of my cooking show in bed. Let me get in bed and put my mask on and start to lull myself to sleep. But I only do it when I'm alone. I don't do it when we are together. We use it for like when we're doing chores in the bedroom, like folding laundry and things like that. That's what we'll do. Another thing I did was a consistent wake up time, even on the weekends, as best I can. Sometimes it's just not possible, but sticking as close to a schedule as possible helps. Yes. And I've been so bad about it, y'all. This is literally speaking into something that I'm trying to work on. So this is a great conversational topic. Tonight, like after my awful day yesterday, I let myself sleep in again. And I've been getting up at 7:30 instead of 6:30. So tonight, mark my words, check in with me tomorrow. I'm setting my sleep cycle for 7 a.m., which means it will go off between 6:30 and 7 a.m. Tonight is the night I do it, y'all. No caffeine after 2. Okay. Workouts are in the morning. The trouble is waking up frequently. Aha. What wakes you up? That's what you have to solve for. And if the answer is sound, you might consider the earplugs. And there are different levels of earplugs, right? There are different levels. I sleep in earplugs. I can still hear my alarm go off. Like I'm not completely, it's not all gone, right? But the sound of the cricket outside my window goes away. If my husband gets up in the middle of the night, I don't tend to hear him anymore. We run our air filter kind of as white noise to add a different level to it. I don't know how much it actually helps get rid of some of the, what am I trying to say? Like, you know how like a simple sound of like a scratch or a breath, if there's dead silence, it's very noticeable, but with just the little light lull of the air purifier, that those little sounds are less extreme sounding. I can't even hear the air purifier, but there's something about all of that, like with the muting of the noise, the making the little sounds sound not so extreme, that are really, really helpful in that. So, but I can still hear, like, if someone starts to talk to me, I can't always make out what he says if he's quiet, but I can hear that like Eric is talking to me, and I'll take my earplug out and be like, what do you want? Or I hear my alarm go off, things of that nature. There are also different levels of earplugs that you can buy. I know there's this brand, and some of my Patreon members use them, called Loops. Loops, I think is what they're called, right? And there are different levels of sound dampening that you might consider as well. Limit myself to my Kindle. I can fall asleep reading, but if I have any kind of show, right. And it's a know thyself situation, right? It's 7:45. We've totally just made this a sleep conversation, which is great. It's fine. I'll just change the title of the video. And so know thyself. If TV is something you can fall asleep to, great. If it's something that's going to keep your mind going, don't even entertain it as an idea, right? I like those light bulbs. The light bulbs are amazing. We have they are the only light bulbs that are in our living room. They are the only, well, that's not true. In the bedroom, our overhead fan has regular light bulbs in, but we have lamps that have the Hue light bulbs. My office ones are Hue light bulbs. Primarily so in the evening times, especially in the wintertime, I can work up here and have the warm light instead of the cold light. But for filming and stuff and camera and this, the cooler light is better, right? Relax mode looks really good. It is so good. It's so good, y'all. Let's relax mode. Let's do a little relaxing. Oh yeah. It's good. We'll turn it up a little bit. It's good. We'll change the mood. Let's change the mood a little bit. My lights are set to relax right now. It's so good. Relax mode is my favorite. My bedroom is set to turn on to relax mode automatically. And the lights also turn off automatically at 11 o'clock. So my husband and I will be getting ready for bed. And if we're running late, the lights go off while we're in the middle of getting ready for bed. We're like, up, running late. I was in bed like 8:30 Monday night. Nice. Going to go to the bathroom, climb into bed with a book till I fall asleep. Yep. Wind down time. Do it. Do it. I'm not a fan of setting a goal for numbers of hours sleep because sometimes I can't control how much sleep I get, but I can control when I'm in bed reading. Yes, and that's a great point. And that's kind of something that I need to let go of a little bit too, because I'm like, for quite some time, I've been convinced like I need 8 hours of sleep to function. Spoiler alert: some days I get 8 hours of sleep and I still can't function. And then I start to like, it's a whole thing, which is why I'm like, okay, regardless of what time you go to bed tonight and how you feel in the morning, you're going to set your alarm for 7 o'clock. So it goes off between 6:30 and 7. That's just what you're going to do, and you're going to deal with it. And after a couple of days of that, I'm hoping everything will kind of shift and even itself out. Now that hockey season is over, I don't have to worry about hockey games keeping us up late at night anymore. At least for now. Fell asleep at about 5 a.m. 3 hours later, I'm staring at the walls. Oh, man. I was looking at the new sleepy drink. Not going to try it, but the idea of it is nice. Yeah. It's kind of the same. I haven't looked at what all the ingredients are, but it's the same idea as the Natural Calm, right? Which is a great product too. Allow me to go to the gym in the morning before work. Yep. More energy in the morning, more sleep at night. Yes. It sounds, Kim, the earplugs. I'm telling you, I knew it was sounds for you. If your concern is quality sleep, and it should be, put the earplugs in. Do something, or get a white noise machine or something that will make the white noise machine does help. If you're not willing to do the earplugs, which I understand, but also if something is really wrong with your children, you will hear it. They're old enough, you will hear it, right? Like if they need you, they'll get your attention, earplugs or not. So there's that. But if the earplugs like, I don't know if I'm ready. I mean, try it for one night and see how it goes. And if you sleep amazingly, then just stick with it. But a white noise machine, or like I said, I run the air filter, just something to take the harshness out of the small sounds might be enough to help you. But if it sounds, you got to do something about it. You got to do something about it. Part of my rigidity when hitting my move ring goal. If I move more than the morning, I close my rings earlier. Yep. Did you miss the word doohickey? It's funny because I regularly say the word doohickey. I really do. And sometimes it's just to myself or to my husband, but like I've never really acknowledged until you started saying the word to me, just how much I've already used that word. And I use it a lot. I use my loop quiets for sleep, especially when mom is watching TV, and the sound machine helps. The other loops are harder and not as comfortable for sleep. I can relate to the late night hockey games. I know you can. And it gets late, doesn't it? It gets so late. And I'm just like, why? Why? It has monk fruit in it. Blah. The loop earplugs. Check them out. Check out the loop earplugs. They're reusable ones. Like I buy the sleep earplugs from Target. It's like $3.99 for a pack, and a pack lasts me a couple of months. But you can get permanent. Like they don't just stay there, but like reusable earplugs with silicone. The dog is in the bedroom at night, and sometimes the dogs will bark. Oh, yes. That is the thing I have no advice for, because thank God, unless something is really crazy. And again, we use the air freshener, the air purifier for sound. But I think that also deters Gracie from barking, because Gracie also sleeps in the room with us in her cage. I struggle with sleep, and I didn't have. But yes, I got one of those, and it was too loud for me. We returned it because I'm like, I can't sleep with this in my room. It's too loud. So I need something that's like the Dom sound machine, but half the volume. That's what I need. And I don't know what the thing is. Oh, rain sounds on Alexa. You could use her too. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, then 8 hours of sleep is not the goal for you. And some people, let me be clear, some people I've heard can like, first of all, the range, like the optimal is 7 to 8 hours. If 8 hours is not practical, or something that you can't seem to achieve, or something you don't think you need, then maybe err towards 7. That's fine. That's totally fine. That I use when I'm out for sensory overload. Excellent. Yeah, so the loops are options. I personally have never tried them, so I have no opinion of them, but I know of them, and they are kind of on my list of like, do I want these at some point? Maybe, possibly I do. So there's that. All right, friends. I wrote down the questions. Smart. Look at me. I use the thing. What Well, we will use this topic next week. This is from Kim. How do you like LF? It's supposed to say elf. The elf putty trio. How do you like the elf putty trio? So this is what she's talking about. First of all, Kim, you're lucky that I even actually kind of sort of really mildly did my makeup today, only to try these out. So this is what she's talking about. The elf primer trio. This I found at Target. The elf putty primer is this dupe for the Tatcha one. It's the full size. Oh, come on. Are you going to focus? Maybe possibly. There you go. It is a putty primer that you put on your face, right? I have used this one, the actual like putty primer before, and I really liked it. So I happened to walk by it at Target yesterday and I was like, oh, this looks, interesting. And then I noticed that they had other ones. And then I noticed that they had a set of 3. So the other 2 that I have are the matte one. It is the matte one. I have the matte one. The focus is not focusing. And then I have the luminous one. I moved my makeup mirror over here to see if this would make a difference. Let's see. Oh. What do you see, folks? So what I did was when I put on, let me change the lights. When I put on my makeup today, which is literally just a little bit of powder foundation. That's it. I put the mattifying one here. So interestingly, this actually feels dry, as in not oily. So I put mattifier here, and in the middle of my forehead. My forehead is a little bit shiny. My cheeks do not appear to be shiny. So then I took the luminous one, which, as I showed on Instagram yesterday, the luminous one, did I just use the right one? No, of course not. The luminous one is the one I wanted. I don't know if it'll show on the camera or not, but like there's actually like shimmer to it. I put just a little bit of it here to act kind of like a highlighter. And then I use the poreless one in the rest of the places, right? My cheeks look pretty good. Like this area, I get really shiny right here. And it actually looks pretty good. So far, so good. I have no heavy opinion yet, but I did have the thought process of, even if for makeup application purposes, I end up enjoying the regular pink poreless one better because it, just makes everything look nice and satiny instead of completely matte. There is potential in getting the matte primer and using it just for oil control. Like even on a day that you don't want to wear makeup, if you put a little bit of that on the places you get shiny and it helps control a little bit of shine for $10 for the whole set was $10, but like you can get the full size one for $10. That could be worth it in and of itself, quite frankly. They have limited edition purple loops. Question about the summer group you're having for the monthly charge. Will it benefit me if not counting macros? And what days do you do the Zoom? Yes. So, thank you for letting me chat about that. So I want to do, spoiler alert, a couple of the people that voted yes, sign me up for this thing that I was talking about on Instagram. It's my Patreon. So if you are already a Patreon member, you do not need to sign up. You are already a member of this group. But I want to encourage people to join this group. And I really have been loving the conversations and stuff that we've been having, especially in the Discord channel. And I may or may not be toying with a community structure that's kind of like Facebook groups, but that's not on Facebook. We're test driving it. I have a couple people in the Patreon over there as I am working on the back end. They're already members of it, so we can mess around with it. But what it is, I want to just spend the summer, because obviously I'm sitting here working on myself, right? Like I'm hardcore being like, this summer needs to be like transformation summer and healthy habits summer and doing all the things and getting my butt back in gear summer, right? Why don't I take y'all with me? And instead of trying to sell a couple $100 coaching course and whatever, when I want to focus a lot on what I have to do and the little habits and curating this other group, why don't I just have the conversations and the stuff and the whatever happen in the Zoom or in the Patreon instead? It's $10 a month, y'all. My group coaching programs are several $100s for 6 weeks, and the Patreon is $10 a month. So I want to do it all over there because I want it to be accessible to more people. I find a lot of value in the community that we have built over there, and we are small, but we are mighty. We support one another, we talk to one another. It is a wonderful, wonderful place to be. And I want to turn it into something bigger, better, and even more helpful. So that's what I want it to be. What are the specifics of it? I don't know what it is yet, especially for the summer challenge. But just today, somebody said, I'm struggling to make sure that I get my steps on work days. And so I looked at her, I looked at her message and I said, this is something that I can also relate to. Would you like me to set up a challenge so we can get this done? And we have this little app that we use that tracks our steps for us and we can challenge one another. And she went, yes, please. And I immediately set them up. So we have 2-step challenges going for the next 5 days just to help her and I and whoever else decides to join get through the weekend of making sure we reach our step goals. Like that's the kind of affirmative actions we want to take over there. Do you have to count macros? No, you don't. We have plenty of people over there that aren't tracking their food at all. Everybody has different goals. It's much more about the community. And we're all very much like-minded in we want to increase our wellness. We want to increase our health. We want to increase our mental health. We want to be in community with one another. That's like the primary things that are happening over there. We have all sorts of different channels in our Discord channel, ranging from, we have one for faith for those people who in my group who are Christians and want to share faith related things, prayer requests go in there, all sorts of things. And everybody writes in there and talks about it. And if it's not your jam, nobody says anything negative about it. They just stay out. They just whatever. We have a Harry Potter channel. We have a channel just for photographs of our cute pets. We have general chat. We have health and fitness chat. We have accountability chats, planner chat. We have channels for everything. And the not Facebook group is going to have similar things, but give us the ability for like longer posts instead of like messaging systems, right? So will it benefit you? I certainly hope so. You don't have to be counting macros. You can do whatever the heck you want. The Zooms, generally speaking, are the goal setting Zoom. So we have 2 Zooms a month. One is a chat where we just kind of get together and talk about what's on our minds. Sometimes people bring questions related to coaching, things of that nature. Sometimes it's just a hangout. We spent the last one getting to know our latest new member, who is also in the chat box here on the YouTube. I don't know if she wants to get called out or not, but I got to know her really well because she came to the chat and we just chatted about things and it was wonderful. And then so we have one chat a month where it's just us chit-chatting about whatever we need it to be. If in the future the Patreon group gets big enough where it warrants me putting more structure in there, I will, but for now it's not. So we just do what we need to do. And then at the end of the month, we do a goal setting specific Zoom where we talk about setting goals for the month. Some people chat through goals. Some, like this past month, I was inspired by what other people were telling me to help me plan my own goals. It's a great thing. We usually do them, I want to say the second and fourth Thursday of the month at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Central. All of my stuff is always at 7 p.m. Central. Did that answer your question? I hope so. You can feel free to DM me if you have any other questions. Think I have ADHD. Nice. You're not broken. That's why I voted for the third option. Yep. I almost said, I mean, I didn't really need to give a third option. How do you keep yourself positive? I'm not in a great place right now. Oh, that's a question. And I'm open for anybody else who may have similar struggles to put this in. But it's interesting because it's so stinking relevant to the small group meeting that we had just Monday night. We're working through the book of Acts, and literally the name of this chapter was dealing with our pain and our struggles and things like that, and literally talking about Paul's pain and struggles and the Holy Spirit moving through him and all, like, totally relevant conversation. My answer is always the same. Like, first of all, I'm never perfectly positive all the time, right? But there is very much a difference for me for like how I'm feeling in the moment versus the truth I know to be true and how I feel deep down in my roots, right? And deep down in my roots, and this is what I've said before, and I will continue to say forever and ever, I have joy and I have positivity because I know that this body is temporary. I will be whole again in heaven, and that Jesus is my Lord and Savior. And that is the joy that keeps me going throughout this life, right? The Lord will not leave me. He will never forsake me. And it's not because I did something bad or horrible or I'm a bad person or he's mad at me that I have these problems. I have these problems for a reason. And that's okay. It's through the struggles that you can get the glory of God to shine. That's what roots me. On a more surface level, the way that I've started doing it is I throw myself a pity party. I allow myself to have the pity party for a couple of seconds, 5 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe a day. But then I promise myself, once that timer is up, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do something that takes an affirmative action towards one of my goals. Maybe it's not the goal that I'm wishing to achieve right now. Maybe I can't go to the gym because I'm injured, because I'm sick, because I'm something, because I'm just simply too tired. What can I do? What can I do? And maybe if for me, it is just putting my phone down and stop doom scrolling and go do something else with my hands. Maybe it's prepare myself a nice meal. Heck, maybe sometimes it's go out and order myself a nice healthy meal. I don't know. But taking and like I praised Lissa for earlier, instead of sitting and venting about it and being in a negative space, she at least attempted to end up in a more positive space by going for her walk, by taking an action that is aligned with her goal, right? That is something that is really, really helpful, because even if it's the smallest thing, even if the thing that you achieved was, I didn't doom scroll social media for 3 hours, you can still feel like you did something. And it's understanding that bad days happen and bad days are okay. Bad weeks are okay. Crummy seasons are okay. Right? Tell me more about the Patreon. Shoot me a message, Lori, because we're already over in time. Shoot me a message and I'll chit chat with you tonight. My steps on days off are my problem. Yes, it's a problem for many, many people, which is why I set up the challenge. The second and last Thursday of the month, but occasionally it'll get moved to another week. It's almost always on Thursday. Yes, I always have my meetings on Thursdays if I can help it. We do move things around sometimes, but in general, I try to keep it going. Know that you are not alone. Yes, and that is incredibly important. You are not alone. Like I said, as soon as you're like people with chronic illnesses, someone's like, hey, that's me too. You're not alone. You're not alone. And not every day is a good day. Not every day is a good day. You're culturally Jewish. I didn't know that about you. If you do find out how to stay positive, please let me know. I wish I had something to hang on to. The idea of not existing scares the heck out of me. Yeah, and that honestly is something I don't relate to. I don't relate to, because I know for me, I know what's coming for me. And it's glorious and it's wonderful and it gives me something to look forward to, and it makes the bad not feel so bad. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's so interesting to me. Like that particular question came up on the week that we talked about it in Bible study. It's just so interesting. I'm going to try spending my gym time on the elliptical and see if I'm getting my heart rate up helps. Getting your heart rate up helps. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about sweating it out, but like the effort to get there sometimes is so hard, but the payoff is always so good. Another thing about Patreon is there's no commitment. Correct. If you pay monthly, so it's $10 to try it out for a month. That's true. And there, you want to just be my salesperson? There is a discount if you want to commit to a year. Yes, that's true. You end up with a percentage off if you pay for a full year of it up front. I'm Jewish also. I didn't know that. I love learning new things about people that I see regularly. Things to hang on to don't necessarily have to be big. Small things count. That's exactly true. Something to hang on to, like right now, for example, could be hanging out with your cat. That kitty cat needs you. Yeah. I'll answer these last two questions because they're quick. Have you done any crocheting lately? No, I have not. And doing one of my woobles is on my June goals list. So I have to carve out the time to actually sit down and crochet the stinking wooble. I'm afraid I'm going to have to relearn everything because like it's just one of those skills that for me, like if I'm in it, if I'm doing it, I can crank it out. But as soon as I stop for a period of time, I forget how to do it. It's the darndest thing. And someone else asked me, are you going to go back to your coach? Like in relation to me wanting to get my rear end gear? And the answer is no, because here's the reality. I'm trained by the same company, the people that my coach was trained by. And I just like, I know what I'm supposed to do. And so the other things that I'm trying to put in effect, like I'm more active on the Patreon, and I did join a step bet today and things of that nature. I'm creating my own accountability. So for now, I don't feel the need to go back to her. She and I still chit chat. We actually Marco Polo just the other day, which was nice, and talked about coaching as coaches, which was fun. Do you believe that you still have a consciousness? Yes, I believe that when I die, I'm going to heaven and I'm going to be with Jesus and I'm going to be with all of those who have gone before me. And it is going to be one heck of a party. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be wonderful. I will be reunited with the people. And the best part is I will be whole. There is no pain. There is no suffering. It is all just being back home with God, which is how he intended for us to be, which is wonderful, So we leave these, and that's what helps me, especially with the chronic illness. We leave these bodies behind. This body is temporary. I want to do my best to take care of this body, but it is temporary. And when I go home, this body will no longer be relevant to me because I will have something much, much better. A highlight on the bike this week and being Jewish is I had 3 bikers from Israel. Oh, cool. Cool. I think it would be so fun to go to Israel and do like my previous church goes to Israel every couple of years and does the whole like walk of Jesus and goes to like the prominent places in the Bible. This is where Jesus supposedly was buried. This is where Jesus was supposedly born. This is like, oh, how cool. How stinking cool. We did go to Ephesus for our honeymoon. And so we saw like the book of Ephesians is written to Ephesus. So I was like, we got to sit there or stand there in the middle of Ephesus and think of Paul and Paul writing to the people in this very place. I was like, oh, and it was very powerful. It was very, very powerful. It's true. It's true. I get it. How's the photography coming along? I mean, am I taking pictures? Kind of, sort of. I've taken a lot of pictures of my dog in the last week. Oh, my friends. My church did like 6 weeks on 1 Corinthians 15, the resurrection of Christ and believers, and it was fascinating. Yeah. You can get into some great stuff. We are currently working through, my small group is working through, I should know what it is. I should know what the Bible study is. Sorry, y'all. I'll let you all go in a second. I want to just make sure that we square this off. It's a Max Lucado Acts. What is it called? Life Lessons from Acts. That's what it's called. Christ Church in the World. That's the Bible study we've been going through since we started going to small group. And it's great conversation. I was in Israel in 1975. That's so cool. That's so cool. What a fun experience. All right, my friends, we have run over, but that is okay. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. This was a fascinating conversation. Really, really good conversation, especially, or even despite of the fact we didn't actually talk about what the title of this video is. So I'm going to go back and change that because we talked about sleep hygiene. Message me, check in with me. I want to hear tomorrow. I want DMs from y'all that tell me what sleep hygiene things that we discussed tonight you implemented into your evening routine this evening. Okay. That is what I want to hear about, my friends. I hope it helped you in some way. Take care, and I will see you the same time next week. Bye, guys.